Yeah, and I really liked when we were talking earlier what you said about when you go along in your life and you say, I know God is real, I believe in him. Things are good. I think we're good. I go to mass on Sunday and then a week passes and I'm back in the church on Sunday. But there's that in between. And I
Mm,
really loved how you spoke about taking that relationship with God just as you have now, but put that into context of a friendship. And if you
mm,
could talk a little bit about that too. I really loved how you explained where if I haven't spoken to a friend for a bit,
yeah.
it's going to be a big catch up or it's difficult to know where we really are.
Yeah. And just to recognize that, what is it that, yeah, what is it that it's the next step? Because friendships are constantly developing, they're organic. There's not like a black and white formula. And if there's an organic reality to it. And the truth is that that's no different than our relationship with God, that there's an organic reality. And yes, God desires us to do the minimum, because it's like there's certain ways in which as a church we understand, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this. But part of it is it's like that's kind of like the bare minimum in order for me to at least stay in relationship. You're like, maybe like,
Yeah.
okay, so my parents are halfway across the country. And like, I know that, okay, to stay in relationship, I need to at least have a certain regular amount of time that I'm in conversation with them. Because then it's like, because then if then there can start to enter in hurt or whatever, like why haven't I heard from you for 2 months, or something like that. But it's like it comes from a place of desire for real, authentic
Relation.
relationship. Yeah, it comes from that. And so the church places before a certain like minimum, like, okay, it's important that we go to mass every Sunday so that we can at least we know that this is part of the law of God, one, that he invites us, asks us to keep holy the Sabbath. But then there's also the beauty of like, this is part of the minimum of relationship.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And
Right. But that's not the fullness of relationship, is what.
exactly. And the reality is that as we grow, we kind of see, okay, what does this mean for me? So, so if a wife never spoke to her husband, even though they lived, under the same roof and everything, and we have our once a week that we talk, and you don't really talk outside of that. And okay, we have our time now, and then we go to where we have separate lives. It just would you'd kind of like, well, what's the status of the marriage? How's the
And you
marriage?
kind of run out of things to talk about. Wall between you. Yeah.
Where it just becomes just like the minimum. And then, but the reality is that in order for that marriage to flourish, you got to kind of step beyond the minimum. So in the similar with God, it's like if I desire my relationship with God to be really what it's meant to be, it's important that I engage that with the realities of my heart. And so, say someone says, well, I don't really feel like talking to you outside of Sunday. Okay, well, how about you tell that to God? Be authentic with Him.
Right.
I
That's
mean,
powerful.
and see how that goes.
Right.
Because more than anything, God wants just us to be real with Him.
And I love what first of all, God just wants us to be real with him. That's perfect. And the other image I have from the way that you just spoke to is imagine telling God to his face, saw you on Sunday, I'm good till next week. Like, I can't imagine saying that to my friend. Great to talk to you.
Even
Don't
though
bother
your
me
friend is in your
or
presence.
I'm going to be out of touch.
Yeah.
That's just,
But it's not
yeah.
just like the reality is that it's also saying like you share an apartment with your friend. Your friend is always there, but talk to you next Sunday. Talk to you next week.
We're just going to pass.
We'll just pass as ships in the night and we just do our own thing. Then it would be like eventually there would be kind of feel that if we're in touch with our heart. But then there's this reality that like, okay, then I feel that and maybe it's telling me there's something off because there is something off.
Well,
You know? But that's not to be a guilt thing of like to weigh me down even more. It's just an indicator of just to speak into where are we?
well,
Where
I
are
like what
we?